Hello, learner. Welcome to Mr. Quaker's Teachers. In this lesson, I'll be providing the character profile and traits for Father Amadi from Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's novel, Purple Hibiscus. So my analysis will be especially helpful for people or students who are writing the IGCSE. But then if you're writing another exam or you're reading the novel or maybe just a classwork or something, or you're just interested in the character of Father Amadi, this analysis will also be very helpful for you. Let's dive in. Now, the first thing I want to speak about is, what you should expect in this analysis. So in this analysis, I'll give an intro on Father Amadi, who he is in the novel. And I also make notes or talk about Father Amadi's relationship with Kambili. That's the narrator, because that's a very, 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 very important relationship in the novel. Then I'll talk about how various characters, view the relationship between Father Amadi. I mean, Father Amadi is a priest, a Nigerian priest, and there's a second priest as well, Father Benedict. I've given there's an analysis on that character as well. That is part of the course. And you can also find the sample analysis on YouTube. Now, I'll talk about what Amaka thinks of the relationship, Obiora, and then Mama Joe. And then I'll also talk about certain character traits that we see about Father Amadi, the fact that he's an unconventional priest. I mean, compared to Father Benedict, he loves to sing. He's liked by everyone. Then the fourth is that he brought out the best in those that he, interacted with. The fifth thing that we say about him is that he loves to laugh, tease, and joke. And then I also talk about the fact that he acts like a life coach. That's like the sixth thing I'll talk about him. Now, the thing about Father Amadi is that he's very young and he's also an open-minded priest. I mean, that's how I think about him in the novel Purple Hibiscus. Now, he's the second most highlighted priest in the novel. Like I mentioned, Father Benedict is like the British priest that oversees St. Agnes Parish. That's where Chief Eugene or Papa, fellowships. And then Father Amadi is in Soka, so that's where Anti-Former fellowships. He's like in the university, and so we're going to see, for example, that he comes across as a bit more open-minded, the way he sings, the way he conducts mass and everything. So he's the second most highlighted priest in the novel. Now, his name is first mentioned when Anti-Former informs Kambili and Jaja that as they arrived in Soka, that their cousins had gone to say, quote, happy birthday to Father Amadi. So the day that Kambili and Jaja arrive in Soka, they are told that their cousins have gone to say happy birthday to Father Amadi. Now, the Ifeodoras, that's Anti-Former and her children, share a very close relationship with him. But we're going to see that relationship is going to be usurped by Kambili when she arrives. Now, however, Father Amadi is first referenced, so he's indirectly referenced as the unnamed priest who deputized for Father Benedict on Pentecost Sunday at St. Agnes Church. So when you read the novel, the beginning portions of the novel, when Kambili and Jaja are in church, and then we're told that a priest burst into song. And Chief Eugene thinks that's off. It's like the mushroom Pentecostal churches. Later on, we find out that it was actually Father Amadi that did that. Now, while that's at St. Agnes, he deviates from the norm of other visiting clergies by not commending the facade. So he doesn't commend the facade and beauty of the parish. And unlike Father Benedict, he sang Igbo or native songs during Mass. Now, that's something that caught Kambili's mind, something that was indelible in her mind. Now, Father Amadi oversees a modern congregation, St. Peter's Catholic Chaplaincy, on the campus of the University of Nigeria in Soka. I mean, in the novel, Kambili describes his manner of preaching as real. So for me, I think that Kambili sees him as, a proper priest. I mean, compared to Father Benedict. Now, the thing is that she also, sort of reveres or respects Father Benedict, but she has a more tenderness and liking for Father Amadi. Now, she says he is real after he kissed the Bible when he was concluding his sermon. So I'm sure maybe towards the conclusion, he kissed the Bible. And that's something that, Kambili, the narrator, liked. Now, because of his youth, Kambili also described him as a boyish man. So that's something as well that you should make note of. The fact that she sees Father Amadi as a boyish man. We are later told in the novel that he was baptized with the name Michael and confirmed Victor. Right. Now, as the novel progresses, Father Amadi develops a fondness for Kambili that borders on boyfriend-girlfriend relationship as he tries to free her from a cast of timidity and shyness. So it's not exactly clear the true nature of Father Amadi's feelings, even though there are portions that would say, it's a bit concerning, but then the reader is unable to really definitely know the feelings. And I'm going to talk about that in a bit. So the relationship between Father Amadi and Kambili. Now, one of the most high-raising relationships in the novel is that of Father Amadi and Kambili. Now, the question is, what is the nature of Father Amadi's feelings for Kambili? Now, although there is no clear-cut evidence of a romantic relationship between Father Amadi and Kambili, as the readers, we follow them all through. The nature of the interaction is sometimes scandalous. You think of it as something that, if it's publicized, could be scandalous, because remember, he's a priest that has sworn celibacy, but then we see that there are portions where he makes contact or physically touches Kambili, not in overtly sexual way, but in ways that maybe somebody may, draw a different conclusion from, depending on the reader. Now, several characters, Amaka, that is Kambili's female cousin, Obiora, her male cousin, and then Mama Jo, the woman who played Kambili's later on in the novel, conclude that the pair's relationship was not entirely or is not entirely platonic. Now, let's first of all deal with what Amaka says. For Amaka, Father Amadi's attitude towards Kambili was very unusual and suspicious. Now, the quotes below reveal her feeling about the pair's relationship. So we see that the first quote is, quote, "You have become Father Amadi's sweetheart." That's Amaka speaking. She said, "He was really worried when you were sick. He talked about you so much. And mom, it wasn't just priestly concern." So that's one of the things that Amaka, the conclusion that she comes to, when Kambili is kicked by her father and then she has to be hospitalized, Amaka says that Father Amadi was very, very worried. Now, she continues and says, again, it's Amaka that is speaking, "He insisted on driving mom to Enugu to see you." Remember, the distance between Enugu and Nsukka, it's quite a distance. He insisted on driving mom to Enugu to see you. I told him he sounded like a person whose wife was sick. So that's the conclusion that Amaka came to. Amaka also observed that Father Amadi's attitude to Kambili was unlike how he related to others. So that was one of the things that, she was worried about. Not worried as such, as in interested in. I'm sure she was quite curious to find out the nature of the relationship between her cousin and the priest. And we see that in the quote when she says, "You're different." She's speaking here directly to Kambili. "I've never heard him talk about anyone like that." So we see here that for Amaka, there's something that is not entirely sure, plain about the nature of the relationship between Father Amadi and Kambili. Amaka also imagined that Father Amadi would turn down her mother's invitation to see the apparition in Aokwe. Remember, that's the reason that Auntie Ifeoma gives for wanting Kambili and Jaja to visit in Nsukka. But here, Amaka imagined that Father Amadi would turn down her mother's invitation to see the apparition. But when he agreed, she concluded that he did so because Kambili was also going. So we see that in the quote. She said she smiled and said that since we didn't have a meal, here that's Auntie Ifeoma that is speaking, she would ask Father Amadi if he wanted to accompany us. Now, Amaka says, "I'll turn into a bat if Father Amadi says yes," Amaka said. But he did say yes. When Auntie Ifeoma hung up the phone after talking with him and said he would be coming with us, Amaka said it's because of Kambili. He would not have come if not for Kambili. So again, we see here that for Amaka, the nature of the relationship or Father Amadi's attitude towards Kambili is something that was quite eye-raising. Hello, learner. I hope you've enjoyed the lesson so far. This is a sample video analysis of this poem. To access the full analysis, purchase it or the entire course with detailed analysis of all the 15 poems, the elements of literature in each poem, and IGCSE style questions, both passage-based and general. There are also A-star quality sample essays as well at mrquakersteaches.com. Find the links in the description. See you in class.